So hello and welcome to another video. And this one we're speaking about addictions and family constellations. And all this stuff, you're going to learn this in a training. This is just to give you like a little preview of what it could look like. And also, if you want to join us on Wednesday, you can join us on Wednesday for our weekly meetings. We meet for just 1 hour. It's going to transform you. If you want to join us before you do the training, you can join us. But anyway, so let's get into it about addictions. So I leave it to you, Alexandra, and then.
Yeah, so hello, nice to have you here. And addiction are very common all over, and we see addictions in each corner. Sometimes they don't look like an addiction. And I would like first speak about family constellations and eating disorders. Like, I don't know how it's in the United States, but we have these children which are very skinny, or we have the bulimia showing up, and it might be in the family constellation that the root cause can come out of that whoever is having it, is, for example, the bulimia. Usually, if there is a constellation, you can see that the mom has a real big tie to the children and that she is not honoring the dad. So it's pretty difficult or dangerous for the children because they love their dad, but they also love their mom. And, the mom is very powerful for children, So it can really be that they eat and then they throw up because they think they cannot take their dad. And you could really get solutions in the family constellation if you really let the children imagine, or the people imagine, that they say to the mom, I honor my dad, and you really have to go through that. You have to stand that. I have so much courage. I allow myself to love my dad, even if you have troubles. And you imagine you get fed by your dad, that he gives you food and you can take it, and the mom has to look on it. And usually in the constellation, it's then, of course, you can eat, but it's an energetic tie that children always feel separated if the parents are in fightings, because one half belongs to the mom, they kind of believe, and the other side belongs to dad. And so if mom is mad at dad, one half is wrong, and the same is when dad is mad at the mother. So they're always in between because they love both. They cannot make a decision, even if somebody says, but he left or she betrayed. The children just love their parents because they gave them space to come to earth. No one else could give this to them. They gave it, and they always belong in parentship or childrenship, I don't know how you say, to the parents. And even if people divorce, the parents never can lose the parentship with the children. So with the bulimia, it's usually very often that the dad is not honored by the mom, that she really takes lots of space and wants to have the children all by herself, trying to protect from the father. But yes, the children just can't go without the love and the respect for the dad.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, if you look at it, it makes sense that this could be one of the options of why the individuals, making themselves throw up. And it goes back to our previous video that we did on relationships, is the honoring, the honoring our partners and giving them their place, and how if we don't, we could get results like this that affects our children, and our children are trying to clear it and trying to help us, trying to make sure that we are stable and balanced, and then they're out of love, they're making themselves sick and making themselves unbalanced.
Yes.
And so it's just beautiful to see that this could be one of the reasons why.
Exactly.
So do the honoring.
Yes. And it's also, with the bulimia, you want to live or you wanted to die as well. You're taking and you're throwing away. And this also could be tied back to this person in the ancestral line, which is usually very often the problem when there are addictions it's like if you're addicted, you're running through that. Of course, we say a little headache pills and stuff, they are not a big addiction, but always if you're getting into addiction, you open the door to the other side. Usually you want to follow a death one, or you want to honor a death one who wasn't seen, got lost, or whatever. So in a constellation, you usually see if somebody is, for example, not eating, really in the anorexia. He very often is tied to an ancestor that died, which was not honored.
So in family constellations, we talked about how everyone needs to be honored, not just the partners, but like also our ancestors, the ones that, let's just say that for me, my mom is from El Salvador, my dad's from Mexico. And let's just say my mom came to the United States and she just forgot about the whole family and she's now living her life. So the people in El Salvador are like, oh, she doesn't exist anymore. And she's kind of dead to them. So she's not being honored, so that becomes an imbalance in the family system. So when we talk about honoring all of our ancestors, we want to honor every single one that has left, children that were given away, even abortions and miscarriages. We want to honor everyone and everything because we want to make sure that everything's in balance and aligned and in harmony, because when you're not being seen, you can just tell, like, you don't feel good about yourself. So now imagine
Yes.
an ancestor that wasn't being seen, so they die with this energy of resentment, of anger, abandonment. I mean, there's so many emotions that come up when we think about
Yes.
someone not being seen. And so then I know from my experience that, I felt my whole life not being seen because I grew up with my mother who had another marriage. And I felt like I was like the child that was put on the side. And this is how I felt. So, and again, it's coming back from not being seen, so I can you can identify how others are feeling that way. And for me, those feelings were abandonment, where I didn't feel loved, I didn't feel secure. And because I've done the healing work that I've done, I understand where my mom was at. I know I honor my parents, I honor everyone. I have done the healing work that I no longer feel that way, so my children don't have to carry that with them as well. So this is why everything we're doing in family constellation is out of love. We're doing everything out of love.
Yes. And just for addiction, it also can be that a child just wants to help the parent carry the same addiction, or the grandparent. It's very common. If the dad drank, the daughter will choose a man who drinks, or the child as well will just get used to drugs. And as I said before, using drugs, or even a depression, it's always going to the deaf people usually. I usually, in January, I had a constellation where really a very depressed young lady was connected to a woman that died by food that wasn't well prepared, and they were so poor that they had to eat whatever came, but nobody spoke about it, so it was hidden. And she really was tied to that aunt that died, and got into big depression. She wanted to die. She want. Usually they say, "I would rather do it than you don't have to go. I would go for you." That's usually what they say if you let them. And of course, the ancestor will say, "No, it's my fate. You need to honor. You honor my fate. Give it back to me. It has nothing to do with you." But sometimes also it's that they say, "Thank you that you gave me the space." And then it can show up that they are like a guardian angel. If this is solved, in that case it really was, you could see that this ancestor was like a guardian angel standing additionally behind that child that had the depression, to bless it with all its good it had.
Wow. I know that there's a lot of addiction in my family, and I know that I was carrying some of that energy, and we always have to give ourselves permission to figure it out and investigate it. And I know for me it was a lot of things, my own consciousness and what I experienced, what I saw, and then I realized that I was carrying a lot of my mother's side I was carrying a lot of that baggage of lack mentality, and letting that go and seeing it. I know that it has transformed me, and it allowed me to be in a different space. But all this comes with courage, and all this comes with strength. And if we want to do the healing work, obviously family constellation will help us see it and help us clear some of the energy, but then we have to put our part of it as well. And then we have to know what's best for us and what isn't best for us. Putting ourselves in positions and places where we know that we're going to fall into the same trap or in the same situation, or hanging out with individuals that aren't going to serve us, then we can get caught up in the same cycles. And so, family constellations, what I heard, you can correct me too, Alexandra, if this is correct, but I heard 75% is spiritual and then 25% is mental. So we still have to do that mental work at 25, the affirmations. And this is where prayer, meditation, affirmations, and it's all that I teach as well in
Yes.
my spiritual healer training, is that devotion to spirit.
Yes, and I had the cases, where parents came and they were constellating the children taking drugs, which makes parents brings them in despair. Yeah. And you cannot say they don't use drugs anymore, but they have a choice. Before they had an entanglement with the family. And this is the good thing, you see it. Something is coming out, the participants, or however it's done, you can see it very clearly. Also, the people who constellate say, oh, now I see it. It's clear. It's exactly how it was. I knew it, but it wasn't to handle. And I think it's just like you don't have a pull on your hand anymore. You can decide better. And I had it that, of course, children decided to stay that way, but the parents and the children got a different relation. But I had lucky parents also where this had a good impact, that they could choose another way for them to continue.
Mm-hmm. So if you're struggling through any sort of addictions, I mean, the addiction list goes on. It could be shopping, it could be alcohol, drugs, gossiping, drama, even an addiction to sex. I mean, so much things that you can be addicted to. And so if you're finding yourself stuck in this cycle, constellations will show us the root of it. And then once we know the root of it, then you can let that go, release it to source, and then you can come back to working on yourself, that self-love, the determination, the caliber, the courage, the strength that you need in order for you to move forward. And if you know anyone that's struggling as well, I mean, you can guide them towards doing this work, this inner work. And again, this is part of the training that we're doing, that we're going to be teaching all these tools and everything that you need to know about everything, not just addictions, but it's relationships. I mean, you can constellate everything:
Yes.
businesses, partnerships with business. You can constellate every single thing. The quantum field will show us what is happening. You can constellate your relationship with your girlfriends and your boyfriends, your partners, everything. We can see it through the quantum field. It will show us, it would clear it, and then we can live this different life. We can send different vibes to our life.
Yes, and it's an energetic work. You also can do it with your inner sides, your confusion. And then you wonder, and then you find out, oh, it's coming from there. Yeah, it's not my confusion, for example. Then you find out it's not even mine. So you can start constellate so much.
Yeah, emotion.
And it's such a beautiful, beautiful work. And I think what I really honor about it, usually strangers come and they open their heart for you to constellate, to be participant for you. They agree, taking their voice for you, being there for healing. And this touches everybody. Some people, they just constellate, but some people, they have really big problems, and it's so important, they need help. And then you meet people that just come and are here for you. This is such a healing energy. And at the beginning, it's always where you think, oh my God, where is this going to lead to? And at the end, you feel the love, even if you only look at the system, or if you have been participant, if you're the facilitator, or if you're the one who asked for it. And so it goes with the pure resonance of our true being, with the love for everything.
Mm-hmm. What I noticed is that, being a participant allows you to grow your intuition. It allows you to start getting to know your emotions because you're feeling everyone else's emotions. So you're feeling everyone else's, and then you start to recognize, okay, this is mine. Where is this coming from? How am I feeling? And then you have a different relationship with yourself because you get to know everyone's how they're feeling. And I know that I've experienced where someone has felt so much pain and so much fear that I'm just like, wow, this is so overwhelming. And it gives you that loving compassion that you just become compassion for other people and what they're going through, because some people are walking with so much fear. They're everywhere they go, they have so much fear, worried, and anxiety. And it teaches us and how helps us to be more compassionate towards everyone.
Yes. And it also heals you all the time. It's good to feel and speak those healing sentences and being a part. That's something we always honor ourselves as well in our true and pure essence.
So I welcome you to go to our website, thedivinetemple.org, sorry. And we're a nonprofit religious organization. And if you want to know more information about the training, it's happening soon. So I welcome you. Space is limited. We are not accepting such a big group. We are going to keep it intimate and private and beautiful, because that way you get more of the attention, you get more of the learning, and it's just good to be in a nice group. So we love you.
Yeah. Cheers.